light at the end of the tunnel. This is my way through. Now all I gotta do is pay attention and be intentional. Yeah, yeah.
Hello. Thank you so much for coming back for the third episode. Now, if you think I'm too excited, you need to go listen to the first episode, the second episode. You need to catch up, people, okay? So you understand the reason behind my excitement, because it's either I am high on happiness and joy than go the other way around, okay? Now, let me introduce myself again for those that are joining us for the first time. My name is Mayowa, and some know me as MJ Praise. I'm a gospel artist and I'm a first time podcaster, so don't judge me, people. This is the third episode of My Way Through, or in full, how I sang my way through abuse, where I'll be sharing with you lots of things I've had to overcome, some demons I'm still fighting, to be quite honest with you. But you know what? There is always a way through it. All we have to do is just dig deep and look for the best way through things, okay? We've all been created for a purpose. All we need to do is find how to realize this purpose, okay? Now, today's episode I've amply titled Me and My Low Self Esteem. Some people find that difficult to believe. Those that know me, they're like, are you sure, Mayowa, that you have a low self-esteem? Yes, I used to have a low self-esteem. And to be quite honest with you, sometimes my low self-esteem plays up once in a while, okay? It does still play up. But I'll just tell you how it is I was able to overcome. How I am able to overcome some of this low self-esteem. I mean, it's not an easy feat, okay? It's not an easy feat at all. Now, some people mistake me to be an extrovert, but those that know me properly know I am an introvert. Even with my immediate family, with my husband and children, when I'm at home with them, I'm like under my duvet. I just don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing about the world or anything. I just want to be a hermit. I think I've said that before in the previous episodes. I just want to be left alone. But because I'm a gospel artist, and you know, I do all those things very energetic, very vivacious, very out there, very hypey, flamboyant. People think that is what I am 24/7 of my life. They get that so wrong about me. They think, oh yeah. So as soon as anybody see me, you know, lose a bit of gas, or not gas, air. When they see me, then, oh, Mayowa, are you sure you're okay? I'm like, yeah, this is the real me. I just want to be. Yeah, I just want to take things and I want to enjoy things. But that is why I said that sometimes God has deposited lots of things within us so that we don't stay too much in our comfortable space. Because to be honest with you, if I am left by myself, just to be by myself, my mind wanders a lot. And it wanders to a point of depression. It wanders to a point of where I question lots of things. Okay? So sometimes and I know that sometimes depression can be due to some chemical imbalances. I don't know the, science behind all that. But talking from experience, the kind of depression I've gone through, even then I didn't know it was even depression. I just said it was like normal to me. It's because I sort of isolated myself from everything else, from everybody else, and I just wanted to be by myself. But then my thoughts would wander. And as soon as it wandered, I would start thinking of lots of terrible things, okay? I mean, because I sing, when I'm singing, I sing with so much power. I sing with so much joy. I sing with so much energy. And that is just, it gives me so much freedom. I love it when I'm in that space. I enjoy it. And sometimes my going into that space of being isolated is because of my low self-esteem. Because I'm like, if I'm in the midst of lots of people, what do I say? How do I say it? Will they judge me? Am I up to par with these people? Am I intellectual enough? Do I have enough words to express myself? Do I have enough experience to express myself? I find myself in that kind of space. So I feel so much pressure doing that. And this, I think, well, I don't think, I know stems from the experience it is I went through. As a child, I was abused, to be honest with you, because I failed classes. I repeated classes back home in Nigeria incessantly. I was just failing classes like anything. I repeated classes. I knew deep down that I was not a dullard. In Nigeria, we call it mumu. It made it that you are a dullard and things like that. But I was never at the top of the class. I was always at the bottom of the class, and I was always repeating classes. But nobody thought to know what was going on. Nobody thought to ask her, what is going on with this girl? Up today, down tomorrow. All they focused on was, oh, she's not doing good and she had to repeat classes. I couldn't confide in anybody. All I had was me and God in my corner. I had nobody to talk to. And and please, when I say nobody and you're like, oh, but you had your parents and family, yes. But unfortunately, in my African community, talking about issues of abuse is like a taboo. And that's why I'm trying to break that stigma, that it is not the victims or the survivors' fault that they've gone through abuse. And that is what it's always, they're like, don't talk about this. If you talk about it, you're going to break the family. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. They never ever put the survivor into consideration. They never asked her, who did this? How did it happen? What did we overlook? What happened? No. And I say this from experience, and I'll share that with you in a separate podcast. Okay, that's another thing. How to talk about the abuse it is you've gone through. And remember, I said that you don't own the abuse you've gone through. You don't call it my abuse. You call it the abuse. And I'm not saying that you're not acknowledging that it happened to you. It happened to you. But don't own it. Because by the time you own it, you are blaming yourself all over again. You are blaming yourself all over again. Now, one of the attributes of my low self-esteem back then was that I always walked with a slouch. A terrible slouch. I couldn't look in people's faces when I was talking to them. I would always walk with it. It was so terrible one day that my mom's friend was like, why when you're talking to people, why don't you even look up and look at them and just talk to them and engage with them? But I didn't have that kind of self-esteem then. But do you know what? If memory serves me right, I also remember that I was always put at the forefront to do like emceeing and things like that, even as a child. And when I say MC, not like in an adult setting, but maybe probably too. And I think it was because of my accent, which I'm sure it's not that good compared to the UK accent now. But back then in Nigeria, I usually, my English was good, not great, but it was good. Don't get me, it was good, but it wasn't great. But I still, I was still able to connect. But I think it was like a persona that I actually put on. That okay, yeah, because I love acting. I like drama. I love playlets and things like that, and I think it's a kind of persona that I could actually put on. So it's like, oh yeah, you're welcome and things like that, and just make people feel good. And I think that is one of the things God has invested in me to be able to do that. And yeah, so I didn't have that kind of high self-esteem, a great self-esteem, to be able to relate to people or relate with them. My self-esteem was extremely low, and I was easy picking for bullies. I mean, I was picked on incessantly too in school. I mean, but it got to a point one day, and I know it's not the best thing. I won't, obviously, if I see that or hear that my children ever did anything like that, oh my God, they will see. So there was a day in secondary school. This guy was always picking on me. I would not talk out, and I was so skinny. Oh my God, I was skinny. I mean, if the wind should blow too much, it's going to blow me away. So this guy would always pick on me. He was taller than me, bulkier than me, and all that. And yeah, but it got to a point that he now put his hands on me. How dare you put your hands on me? That was it for me. And all the years of pent up anger and everything. I didn't know when I put this boy's head in a headlock under my armpit and I squeezed it hard and started knocking him on the head, and people were trying to pry him away from me. They were really surprised that, oh, Mayowa, where did you get this strength from? And you know what? From then on, nobody messed with me. I still had my low self-esteem, but I was able to stand up for myself. It wasn't the right way, but he put his hands on me, and I had to let him know that was not acceptable. And I think I envisioned that it was all the perpetrators that had done these terrible things to me, and I just unleashed on him, which wasn't the best way. Don't get me wrong. I'm not in any way encouraging violence, please. I'm just trying to relate to you, what it is, how it is I was able to, stand up for myself then. Just, I couldn't look in people's eyes. I was bullied incessantly. I couldn't speak up. Not at all. Now, this next one that I'm going to share with you, it's quite, embarrassing, but I'm not ashamed of it, to be quite honest with you. So, I used to wet the bed till my teenage years and even defecate. That's called poo, for those that don't know what that is. And unfortunately, I was also judged by that. I was picked on for that. I will wet the bed out of fear, out of, things like that. But nobody picked up on it. They just said that, yeah, it's typical Mayowa. Well, of course, she wet the bed. Of course, she put in bed. Yeah, we're used to that. But I knew what it is I was dealing with. I knew what it is I was dealing with. Now, you have to be able to unlock your inner lion and lionesses. Do you understand? Because lots of things have happened in your life to derail you from achieving your potential. Lots of things will happen to make you feel ashamed, to make you feel inept, to make you feel inadequate. But you have to be intentional, consistent, and diligent in saying, I won't let what it is I've gone through affect me. And just like I always say, I know that situation differ. I'm not oblivious to that. I know that our lives, our backgrounds are different. But why don't you give it a go? Try it. I was in that dark place. I couldn't take it no more because I had nobody to talk to. I didn't know nothing else. I just wanted to sleep and not wake up anymore. Even as a 12-year-old girl, I didn't know that meant I was going to die. I didn't know that the end result of that was death. So I took an overdose of painkillers because I just said, I want to sleep and not wake up anymore. It didn't, it did reflect on me that means you're going to die, Mayowa, as a 12-year-old girl. And I remember that as a 12-year-old girl standing in my daddy's room, sitting room. I remember there standing with my uniform with my hand filled with different pills, and I took it. I don't know how it is I lived through that. I don't know what happened, but I know I am here talking to you. Nobody knew about it at all. Nobody knew about it at all. I don't know, maybe I slept throughout like I intended to, or I was drowsy after that. I can't tell you what happened after that, because I know, I'm still here obviously, but that was my intention. I just wanted to sleep and not wake up anymore. So growing up, becoming an adult, realizing that, wow, even before I became an adult, realizing that I have all these potentials deposited within me. And I was like, God, how am I even able to show all those things? How am I able to impact my world with everything it is you've deposited within me? I can't do it. My low self-esteem is off this roof, off the chart. I can't even do it. So I told God, I said, God, if you want me to achieve all this, I don't want to be relevant, trust me, but I need to be relevant. You need to make me relevant. I'm not seeking for fame and fortune, but dear God, if it comes, I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to hold it tight, but not too tight that it's going to derail me from being the person that I'm meant to be. I said, God, you have to show me how to do it. You have to let me go through the school of life. You have to you have to teach me how to do it. So when he gave this vision for me to do the outdoor concert, to share my experiences of going through abuse, it was like a massive stretch from telling my husband when I was 17 years old to telling my vicar some, I think 15 years later, to now sharing it in the presence of hundreds of people. Oh, come on, God. Come on, don't do this to me. I was like, there is no way I can do this. But I did it, obviously, because I'm here. And we're doing the 10th edition of that concert this year. Because I've lived through it. And do you know what? I remember when I started talking about it, I was like a blubbery mess. I will always cry through it. Oh God. Because it was release for me. Release for me. And that is why I tell survivors that you can't keep it to yourself. Because you might think that, oh yeah, it's better you don't talk about it. If you don't talk about it, nobody will know about it, then it's better for you. Trust me, that is the worst thing you can do for yourself. Or you might be scared that if you talk about it, then it will spoil or it will mess up the family dynamics. And, it will mess, which was in my own case, that, oh God, if I talk about it, oh, the perpetrators, that means I'm going to break up the family. Oh God, fear of this, fear of that, fear of the community, fear of being alienated by your family, that, oh, you've talked about it, fear of your in-laws, that if they hear about it and things like that. But do you know what? That is killing yourself. That is restricting yourself. Now, I'm not saying that be as crazy as me and go on a podcast and talk about it, or take a microphone and project it, through the speakers. No. Talk to somebody. It might be a professional. Talk to somebody about it. It might be your husband. And I say this because lots of families have broken up because the partners have gone through something like this, and the other partner did not know about it, and they were not able to understand the behavior of the other partner because they've gone through the abuse. Imagine in my own case, if I had not told my husband about the abuse it is I went through, and when we had our daughter and I was taking my daughter away from the father, he would have taken offense to it. But he understood that, okay, at her own time, her own pace, she would, let go. It wasn't easy. And I think sometimes actually he was happy with it, for me taking care of the child. So it won't be strapped with the responsibility. But do you know what? On a more serious note, he understood. He knew. And I'm not saying that we didn't have our own ups and downs too. Oh, it was still a lad. My husband was still a lad, and it was still a tool, if I can use that word. Sorry to use that if that's not acceptable ethically. But yes, it was a difficult season in our life. And I told God, I said, God, if you need me to use this story to impact my world, then you need to equip me. I need to be relevant. I need to be fluent. I need to be resourceful. You need to show me the way. And I'm still learning. I'm not there yet at all. But I've been able to see opportunities. I've been able to build myself up. Some things I can't afford, I've had to learn how to do them in order to achieve some of the things I'm doing now. One of the instances I would say is being able to create flyers and promotional videos for the things I do. For the past 8 years or more, everything that has to do with promotional things, be it flyers or materials and things like that, or jingles and things. I've been doing the voiceovers. I do everything myself, from designing to editing to video coverages. I've done everything myself. It might not be to a professional standard, but you know what? It is better for me to do that than for me to do nothing. Because if I had stayed, or if I'm waiting to have enough resource to achieve my potential, I wouldn't have moved a step from when it is I had that vision. But I've learned lots of skills, lots of things. And that's why I said that don't overpackage things. That is another topic for another day. I don't want to delve into that today. Okay? Don't oversell yourself. Don't overpackage yourself and say that, oh yeah, or try to attain or reach for the best. You do your best. Don't strive for the best, because the best is, it's subjective. The best can only be defined by somebody's individual stance. My definition of the best is different from your definition of the best. You work hard on achieving your own best, and you be sure that it is the best of your best. Okay? Also, don't be oblivious to your inadequacies. Don't be ashamed to let people know what it is you can't and you can't. You can and you can't do. Don't be ashamed. And when I say that, I say that also from experience. And I think I touched on that at the previous episode. Because if people, to some extent, if people see how vulnerable it is you are, it's sort of endearing, I think, at times, that, oh, she's come forth unashamedly to say that, oh, I can't do this and I need help. And people, I think, the right people will rise up to help you, to support you, to say that, okay, it's absolutely fine. We will be there for you. We will help you. We will support you. But unfortunately, you are opening yourself up for criticism. You're opening yourself up for people to take advantage of you. So you have to be really aware of that. That's one of the cons for that. That's one of the disadvantages for that. Okay. And one of the low self-esteem I also went through is when I came to the UK, and being in the midst of predominantly white people, it was quite a daunting task. That where do I start from? How do I do it? And I would just let people walk all over me and do all that because, but now, with a bit of hard work, with a bit of experience, with a bit of intentionality, I'm learning how to stand up for myself, which can be quite difficult, especially when we're in a place of, you're trying to preach love, acceptance, and things like that. But unfortunately, and you're trying to preach humility, but unfortunately, people take advantage of that. They want to say that, oh yeah, let's see how it goes. But then, as soon as you speak up for yourself, they see it as you going contrary to what it is you're preaching. So, you have to be able to discern when to fight your battles. Some battles you walk away from, you're like, that's why I tell my children, is it worth you standing back and picking a fight with somebody that just graced upon you on the high street, somebody you don't know from Adam, somebody that you might not see again in your life? Is it worth you standing back and bantering words with them, or engaging in any kind of argument with them? Is it worth it? No. So you pick your battles. Thank you so much for staying till the end of this podcast, and I'm looking forward to the next episode where I'll be answering some of your questions. If there's anything it is you'd like me to talk about, or any questions it is you'd like for me to ask, I'm happy to do that. And I'll also love your feedbacks on how to improve myself. Thank you all for all the feedbacks. I'm really, really loving it. But what I won't do is change who I am, or change the tone or the excitement in my voice. Okay, I wouldn't do that because it's just too sweet. I love the moment. I'm loving it. Thank you so much for joining me this moment. I really do appreciate it. And if you'd like to support me in any way, please let me know. It would be most appreciated because I'm using money to run all those things online. It will be most appreciated. Thank you so much, and I'll see you at the next episode. If you want to give a shout out to somebody, that's another way you can support. I will do that for you, but you'll have to give something towards this initiative. Or if you'd like to advertise your business, please get in touch with me too. That will help tons. God bless you so much, and I'll see you next time, in 2 weeks time to be precise. God bless you and have a wonderful and fulfilled life.
This is my way through. Now all I gotta do is pay attention and be intentional. Yeah, yeah.